This is a video about the update from Another Axiom. We've got a video reveal, and we've got like a whole wall of text that we're going to be breaking down now. If you've seen it but haven't properly read it, we're going to go through it line by line, section by section. We're going to break it down, find out what it actually means, what they're talking about, and we're going to have a look at this reveal trailer as well. So much has been revealed, particularly with the Vegas event coming up next month, but also everything to do with the closed beta, how you can get involved and play this game early, how you can influence how this game gets shaped and how they're allowing that and being transparent. All that good stuff. Most of you guys watching this are going to be Echo community people, so you know what it's all about, but you would have seen that there was a big announcement that came out, like a whole wall of text, and we're going to break it down in this video, piece by piece, and understand what is going on. From my perspective, seeing it, I mean, I've read it a couple times already, but when I first saw it, it was like, 7 a.m, and I'm like, what the fuck is it? What's going on? So now it's actually Saturday morning, I've sat down, I've had a little look at it, and we're going to have a look at it again. I'm going to try something cool here. So if I drag this down, wait, I've done it wrong. One sec. Relax. Oh, I dragged this one. Bring that back up. Oh, what a mess. What a mess we're making. Right, cool. So we're going to go through this announcement. You still got me in the video. Hello. And we're going to look through this wall of text. If you're not in the Discord, I'll put a link down below towards the A2 Discord for Another Axiom on their game that they're making. So I'm fully assuming that if you're watching this, you understand what's going on. You understand that EchoVR shut down. There was a whole community that weren't very happy about that, still stuck around. And a saving grace was, or is, Another Axiom, which is Gorilla Tag creator, mixed with loads of rad developers who made Echo, the old game that shut down. And some other people. And they're just doing it correct. It's a team of plus 50 people right now. They've grown very quickly. I am not sure if they are technically a startup, but I don't think so, because they already have a hugely successful game bringing in, millions of dollars. So it could just be all off their own back. They're just turning the money back into the company. I do not know. I do not know what their numbers look like. That is fully me assuming, but that means that they do have control. They're not answering to a board of investors that are going to tell them how to do what they want to do. They have that freedom because they've already had that first success, and they're going in very strong. If you want to know why that's important, if you're new to this whole thing, you don't know what I'm talking about, then this isn't the video for you. Go find another one on my channel and we'll talk about this. But for now, we're going to talk about Another Axiom, A2, making their moves now. It's time of recording, it's the 2nd of September. This announcement came out at the end of August, and we're going to go through it now. So we're looking at this now, A2 announcement. This was 31st of August, 20 past midnight for me. Project A2, early access. Wow. Another Axiom development philosophy. All right, cool. I love this kind of stuff. Just over a year ago, Another Axiom was a team of one. So there you go. Bit of background. Lemming, who had an idea that he wanted to try. Inspired by what he had played as a VR early adopter, that idea turned into a Gorilla Tag. Part of what made Gorilla Tag unique was how he openly talked about the VR community from the beginning. He shared early screenshots and builds with people far earlier than most developers do, so he could rapidly iterate. This has been well documented publicly. On the Gorilla Tag Discord, it's possible to scroll all the way back to the beginning to see those first screenshots. I didn't actually know that. That's pretty cool. I think I'm in the Discord. I don't know. I need to go find it. I've lost my place. It's possible to scroll all the way back to the beginning and see those first screenshots. That is cool. I'm actually going to go do that. There are a few really good history of Gorilla Tag videos out there that show the historical development progression. So this is what's important here. The way they're doing this is what's tried and true in terms of Gorilla Tag. The first, one of very, very few true VR sports, like a physical VR game, VR done correctly, built for VR upwards, rather than like a 2D game just ported to 3D, ported to the VR like medium, the platform. This is like VR first, where it wouldn't work on 2D. That's how you know it's a good VR project. So moving on here. Another Axiom is now a team of 50 plus people, as I was saying, making Gorilla Tag. And so remember, Gorilla Tag was made by one person. We now have 50 people plus. So that's giving you a sense of the scale, that like the ambition these guys are looking at, and the speed of iteration that they're looking towards as well. Another Axiom is now a team of 50 people making Gorilla Tag and our new project that we've codenamed A2. While the team has rapidly grown, we want to keep the same radically open development used for Gorilla Tag. We are excited about the idea of sharing prototypes and concepts that are freshly made, even if that work will ultimately be thrown away and rebuilt with better ideas. We think we can achieve something special by working together from the very beginning. So reiterating, as I was saying before, involving you guys, involving the players of the game in the development process. Early access expectations. We recognise that coming to Vegas is a significant personal commitment. It sure is, that you're making to our team, and we want players to know what they can expect to see. To help manage those expectations, we'd like to share some of the early progress we've made in the game by dropping dev blogs. Cool. Transparency. We can see what's going on. Understand this is a work in progress, of course. We've built a talented team, but this game won't ship until late next year at the earliest. Early access will give you a behind-the-scenes peek on how game development is made. Grey block-out environments, programmer assets, all while the final look at the game hasn't been established. We'll see level layouts that will never ship, mechanics that are too OP, design explorations, lots of bugs and fun things in between. This is the kind of stuff that traditionally you would just not see. You wouldn't see any of this kind of development stuff. You would just see the polished, like a GTA game comes out, it takes them 5-6 years to make it. It finally comes out and you're seeing the final polished thing. Some people love that, but if you love that, this isn't the place for you. This is a game you're going to see the messy side of it as they're building it up as they go. It's not a beta. This is early access. However, this is the fun part of game development, and we are excited to bring you in. What is that? I'm guessing that's the place in... I don't even know. I had a cold guess that that's the venue for the thing in Vegas, but no, it may just be like an AI-generated blob representing a building that is not ready. I don't know what to expect from Vegas. We'll start the event with a welcome that explains how the day is going to go. There will be a space sectioned off for running groups through the game. Outside of the game, we'll have scheduled sessions with developers to discuss feedback that will help us refine our goals. Just to back up, if you don't know, you probably should know if you're watching this video, but the roadmap, let's do the roadmap, just high level. These guys are from September 2nd, which is actually today, they're going to start their closed early access. So they've let, I think it's 20 people now start testing the game. And they're going to expand on that as they go. But now it's going to lead up to October 14th, where they're going to have an actual event where they're going to bring ideally as many people as they can are engaged and want to give feedback and are helping them out, to Vegas, October 14th. And they're going to have like a trial, get people in the room, talk about the game, and hopefully move it forward beyond that with the feedback that they'll get in person. I really like this because it means that they're valuing the in-person experience that we saw a lot of over the last year or so with these community lands that come up. It is where the magic happens. If you want to see, I'll probably link it. The vlog of Toronto is the best one because I did so much content for that. But all these other events that I've been to, and many other people have in the community, they can vouch that meeting up in real place, in a real place with people that you've met in a virtual one, is poignant. What's the word? There's a word for it. It's special. It's good. It's nice. And then App Lab release, they're looking for 2024, a release. Probably later in the year, but who knows? Who knows how far along they get and how confident they are about releasing something that isn't just going to explode once it gets X amount of players into the game. Speaking from experience, you can have the perfect game, it works with 1, 2, 3 people, but once you start getting 14 people in the lobby, 20, that's when things fall apart. But yeah, we're moving on. What are we talking about here? Early access, Vegas. We'll start I've read that bit. This will not be a non-stop free for all play test session. It's talking about the Vegas event on the 14th of October. We're going to need your cooperation and help to manage these scheduled sessions to give everyone that comes out equal access to playing time. Our goal is to give everyone at least a single session of 30 continuous minutes in the build. Cool. We're hoping that we can push that number higher, but this is a realistic target for the number of tickets. That's fair play. They want a lot of people there. And 30 minutes is a long time to get a sense of a game, to be fair. Oh, pardon me. Our plan is to show some of the tools that we want to eventually release and get your feedback on what is important and would like to see. Over the next weeks, we'll be collecting ideas and topics from you directly for the event. In all honesty, if you're coming out to just play their build for 30 minutes, this is not the event for you. We'll be adding players to our builds over time throughout development, and you'll be able to play from the comfort of your own home when it's time. This is the event for you. If you want to try some of our crazy ideas and get into spirited conversations for hours about the vision of the game. That's what I'm talking about. This is what happens when you have events in person, when you get people together NTS Franz talks a lot about this in his interview. I'll link that. I'm new to YouTube. I don't know how to. It'll be on the screen somewhere. Watch that video. He talks about this tons. Moving on. Next part. As a robot champion, build a community of galactic Olympians beyond the limits of gravity. Okay, well, I think we're getting a bit more like lore, a bit more story unfolding on what's going on here. So, stations. Travel through a fleet of stations to find your community. Once arrived, float or take one of the many high-speed systems to different casual game modes. However, if larger arena sport games are more your style, then find your way to one of the many stadiums. Hang out in the bleachers. In the bleachers? Might be an Americanism that's lost on me. Hang out in the bleachers. What does that mean? With your friends to cheer on your favourite players, commentate from the caster's booth, or float through the locker rooms to join in on the action. Okay, so this is something that has been discussed to some length in the suggestion station. This idea of stations, that seems to be like a fundamental idea that they're pushing with the design of the game. It seems to be quite like an open world thing, what Meta Horizon, I guess, tries to do, where you go to a world, but they're calling it a station instead. You go to a world, and then you engage with the people there, and then you can always just like portal to another one. That seems to be what they're going here, so it's like one continuous universe, and then you're in different points of that. Cool, hope it works. See how it goes. Game mechanics. Learn more about our new approach to zero-G movement. We're targeting human scale speeds with more physicality, hand-based collision, sliding, and paddle-based momentum mechanics. This bit's interesting, we'll come back to this. All while using very few controller inputs. We have removed the ability to grab flat walls, only allowing grabbing on bars and handles that your fingers could wrap around. I actually didn't read this part, so I missed that. I saw someone talking about this. We hope this model will follow people's expectations of how hands work in real life, while adding depth and a high skill ceiling by layering multiple physical mechanics together. Before we move on, let's talk about this game. I mean, people can probably talk about this for hours. This is probably the most, particularly from people coming from Echo, this is the bit that we really care about, because there's going to be some people that just obviously love their code. They're really upset that it's gone now, we can't play it again. Technically you can play it offline, but that's for another time. People just want a copycat of that. They love the locomotion and the mechanics and everything about that in terms of physicality, how you interact with that world. And it's something that just hasn't been done in any other VR experience. So they just want that copy paste into this experience. But what I appreciate here is that Another Axiom already have Gorilla Tag. They already have a whole mechanics, like what do you call it, like in their game engine. They've already got a way that all of this mechanics works. In my mind, as not a developer, I don't really understand how it happens, but I imagine they just take that, turn gravity off, and they've got the basics of like how they're going to do. So when it comes to the movement in Gorilla Tag, where you're kind of sliding, right? You don't really grab stuff as you would with Echo, and like you grab something and then really anchor yourself to it. That doesn't really exist in Gorilla Tag. You're more like fluid and moving. And I feel I had like a premonition that that's where they would be going towards. So when you've got things like hand-based collision, sliding, and paddle-based momentum mechanics, that's what that sounds like to me, which is like Gorilla Tag basically, but without the gravity putting you back down. So every jump you're actually just pushing off in a different direction rather than returning to this consistent ground that you're working with. While using very few controller inputs, I think that's completely rational. That makes absolute sense. Like, we're designing VR experiences where we don't want to depend on button press. Cool, it's nice to have, especially with competitive games, but you want it to be physical, and you want to really like lean into the physicality of it, hand tracking. And what can be used with that. We've removed the ability to grab flat walls. Yep, cool. Only allowing grabbing on bars and handles. So they are having some anchoring in the game, which makes sense. But it's interesting how they're actually going to deploy that and how that will affect a game dynamic. Because remember, there's two things they're building here. They're talking about these stations. So they're building like a VR continuous like universe to go spend time in, socialize in the social world, and how they're using that. And then there's the actual game, like us Echo people that are coming into this, what we want. We want this physical sport game. And yeah, they're building two things here. Level editor. Oh wait, sorry, did I finish this? We have removed the ability, blah blah blah. We hope this model will follow people's expectations of how hands work in real life, while adding a depth and high skill ceiling by layering multiple physical mechanics together. In my opinion, IMO, this is the bit that's going to be in flux. When they're talking about like bugginess and changes and perhaps trying something that may not ever actually exist in the polished version in late 2024, I think this is what they're talking about. I think this is the bit that's going to be chopping and changing. The core of it, which is hand slapping off surfaces, I think that's going to stay, but I think it's everything else. Okay, very few controller inputs. What does that mean? What variety is going to be offered there? I think that's something that they may, like, who knows, they may actually lean back into that, and then there is some input with the button, something to fall back, perhaps like reduced people that have VR nausea. There could be options where, like, instead of, I don't know. There could be options that help particular people. There could be scenarios that we just haven't thought about until we get people using this app and trying it out. Level editor. Let's move on. The tools we use to build the game will be the tools we ship to the community. So again, sounding very similar to Meta Horizons, VR chat. These kind of things where there are tools to build these worlds. Grab your friends and build the game mode live while they are playing. Okay, that actually sounds sick. So you can edit it while people are in the actual map. That gives me a vibe of... So the one thing that reminds me of is when people are hanging out in a private lobby in Echo, and there's one person that goes into the locker room and sets the disc to a curved disc, just to wind everyone up. Whether that's related to this, I don't know. That's just the first thought that came to my mind. Anyway, community stations. Okay, cool. This seems to be tying back to what we're talking about, being a social space. We'll share our plans on how players can run their own servers, control their own stations, host their own rule sets, moderate, and customize the look and feel of activities, posters, game modes, and more. So I feel this whole project is a little bit of a Trojan horse in that the core of the player base for this game, we're going to call it a game for now, is going to be people that have come from Echo Arena and Guerrilla Tag. They're going to be coming into this space and they're going to want to be competing and playing this game. But I feel it's a Trojan horse. I feel really it's communities. I don't know how intentional it is. I assume it's incredibly intentional, and this is exactly what the leadership of Another Axiom are doing. But what they're actually building here is what Meta Horizon Worlds failed to do, which is failed to do because they weren't really trying to do it, but it's what they should have been doing. It's what VR chat does well. It's what Rec Room kind of does well. Yeah, no, it does. It does do well because they're different game modes and stuff like that. It's about communities within that virtual space, and for that to fit, you have to think of it more like wider than a game, because when VR chat, sure, it's a game, you go into it, but then there's like games you play within the whole universe, which is VR chat. This is the vibe I'm getting from this. I could be way off, but using words like community stations and understanding what was so important about EchoVR is the communities that spawned up, the beer leagues, the Tyro, the EU communities, the I'm sure there's loads in US, the OCE community. Let's have a quick look. Duckman community. I'm sure I'm only in like 5% of how many there actually were, big and small. There's like hubs, and these worlds in the era of Echo existed on Discord. You go to the Discord and that's where everyone would be hanging out and talking and stuff like that, VCing or whatever. The angle, it feels like to me, is just a premonition. Is that the right word? Like an assumption, a guess. Stab in the dark is that's what's being built here. We're going to have community stations, which means we're going to have the Tyro station, the Beer League station. We're going to have the EU station. You know what I mean? We're going to have like the Ignite station is going to be over here. These like sub-hubs, sub-cultures that developed in Echo we're going to see the next generation of that. Where I reckon we'll get some legacy ones come through. There will be a Beer League station, an Ignite station. But I feel we're going to get the new ones, the new generation of players, but also just the new games, a new place. And I think we're going to have these hubs appear. And ideally, these manifest as stations. There's like a planetary system. There's going to be, you go fly over there and it's going to be there. And like, I'm interested to see how that transportation, assuming I'm bang on with it, and that is what it's going to look like in terms of stations. It's going to be over there, over there, over there. How you travel between them, I'm really interested in how that works. Is it literally just going to be like a portal that you open up, step in it, and then you teleport over there? Or is there going to be some kind of transition with a loading screen or a loading like scene rather than a screen? That's something that works. If you use workrooms has like a transition scene when you're in your desk, and then you transition into a meeting where you meet up people, but it's like a loading. I'm kind of rambling here. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I have rambled a bit, but there was actually a lot to digest there. We have a game that's being made, which is actually quite like a larger thing, as where the Gorilla Tag was made with one person, this was being made with 50 people. So in terms of ambition and scale, we know that's going to eventually manifest. We have an event in Vegas. Let's talk about that. So if you have the means to go, obviously go. I mean, like, if you're watching this now, you're probably in America and you're an Echo player. You're an Echo community person, and there's a reason why over a month of the shutdown, you're still hanging around watching videos like this, right? So go. If you're in America and you have the means to go, even if you're not in America but you do have the means, go. If you can't go to Vegas, you can still get involved. The closed beta, as they've said, it is opening. They're adding more people to it. So if you just stay engaged, eventually you will get pulled into it. You'll get to have early access. If this is something that you want, if you do want to contribute to the game and help play it early, first of all, which is cool. Everyone wants to play games early and see what's like in development. But also if you want to contribute and improve it, like if you have good ideas, then share them with the team and they'll take them seriously. So closed beta doing that. Oh, the other thing is this thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're not even in the server, first of all, get in the server. There's a link in the description. Suggestion station. Go here and say you have an idea. So for me, recently, is that a search? Tutorial. Oh, that was when I was writing a new one. Yeah, forget that. So if I go tutorial, I had an idea of how the tutorial should work. Or I had, an opinion I wanted to share. So I searched this and I saw 3 posts here. People were already talking about this. Well over 30 days, 4 days ago, 27 days ago. So I clicked on one of these. And there's a discussion. And you can join in on the discussion. Where did I write mine? I think it was in here. Yeah, look at these. Look at these people talking. Look at these ideas being thrown around. Amazing. Do that. Have a search before you're making a new post, because a lot of people just make loads. Say that you think that a farming simulator would work in space. Then you go here, you type in corn. Oh look, Mr. Stick 62, possibly real, has a great idea for corn. And so many people agree. 218 thumbs up. That's a city one. If you can't tell, that's a city one. It's a bit of a city one, but kind of taken seriously. You know when something silly is being taken seriously, and they might actually put corn into the game. If you don't want that, then put some other suggestions so they don't do that. I don't know. But yeah, do that. Do that. If you can't go Vegas, if you can go Vegas, even go on there. Give suggestions. If you give suggestions, you will be noticed. And if it's good feedback and you're engaging and you're playing nice, then these people will see you doing that. And it just ups your chance of getting into the closed beta earlier on if you're going to give that good feedback. What else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, so yeah, all that's happening. I haven't decided if I'm going Vegas yet. I think it would be cool. I don't know. I'll do another video on that. I don't know if I'll go. It's expensive, but I want to go. What was I going to say? Yes, some of you may know, I've linked in some of my other videos, I have like a dev server. At the moment it's called like VR Dev Hub or something. I'm going to turn that into a beta test server. So if you are someone you're working on a game at the moment, like a project or whatever, so if it's a VR experience and it requires testing with more than one person, then reach out to me, join the server, there'll be a link below, join the server, and there'll be roles, I'll figure it out, I'll make roles for it, so you can sign up, say, yes, I have a game, yes, I would like some beta testing, I'd like get people into the app and experience and see where it breaks and find those bugs. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a test server it's a free test server, free testing. If you're a VR enthusiast, if you want to play some early development games, not including Another Axiom A2, don't worry about this, that's something else. If you're interested in playing other titles that may blow up and be in a new gorilla tag, then join the server, same link, and just sign up as tester. I'm going to go figure that out at some point. I'm going to make it nice and simple. Are you a developer or are you a tester? Sign up as a tester. We're going to make events. We're going to do a whole thing. And we'll, you'll see it. There'll be posts and it'll be like, hey, this person working on this game, they need people to come test it on this Saturday. Sign up here. Jump in. I hope it works. I don't know. Haven't really done it before. Hope it works. It's what I do for a job. I do QA testing, multi-user stuff in VR. So I'm hoping I can bring that expertise and professional experience and help budding, young, not even young, just anyone who's trying to build a VR game and needs testers and needs like good testing, feedback, setup, all of that stuff. What else? Content, stuff's coming out. Top of the pop. At point of recording this, there's one episode I haven't released yet. It's coming. It's the best episode I've ever done, and it's a very important guest to me. Very important to me, and I hope that you really appreciate it. That should be coming out very soon. The time of releasing this, it should be like a week later. And I went to Italy. The last LAN I ever went to for Echo Arena. I made a vlog for it, but I've been moving house. Yeah, look where I am. This is new. Ow. It's a new place. I moved flat. So for the past 2 weeks, I haven't been doing any content or anything like that, and no editing or nothing. So to be honest, seeing this announcement was like a wake up, like, oh snap, yeah, I need to go do this stuff. So here I am, I'm back. I'm in a new place. I hope you like it. Fiddled around with the lights for a little bit. Got the foam things on the wall. And then my display. I love my display. Maybe if people actually give a crap about that, I'll go through that at some point. Favourite thing was the Echo disc. Yeah, look at that bad boy. Savage large printed that. That's like solid as well. That's like quality. Glowing. Is that it? Content, top of the pop. The vlog for the Rome LAN. It was actually epic, and I'm really looking forward to sharing that one. It's a bit of a hidden gem as well. Content. Can't remember. Screw it. We're done. Nice. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to like lean into this YouTube stuff because it can be quite easy. If I am just like waffling like this, then this could be like a nice side little project to do. Like just do like a weekly video talking like this, going over the news and stuff like that. If this does like hit with people, I don't really know. I feel like the podcast had its own thing because I used other people. Other people would come on, we talk to them, and then they share their story, and that's actually interesting. That's the content. That's the thing that you want to see. And all I had to do was just facilitate that. I had to make the space. But the game's done. I don't have that setting anymore. So if I do a podcast series, it needs to be like it's a new thing. It needs to work in a different way. I don't know. I'm thinking about that. But yeah, if you have suggestions on like, if you're someone like, because I'm getting like, I don't know, 200, 300 views, right? And that's like generous. Sometimes it's less than that. If you are someone that is engaged and perhaps you don't even comment, you haven't commented at all, but you're still watching to the end of a video like this, then please do comment and say what you enjoy about these kind of videos. And like how I can improve them, what you'd like to see, what could I do, having been in the Echo community for so long. With the A2 coming up, do I document this somehow? I don't know. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy talking about it. If you can tell, like how many minutes deep into this now, and I'm just still kind of waffling about it. Have a look at this. Okay, that's just silly. Have a look at this. Okay, yeah, so I didn't actually go over this, so let's do this quick. So I'll probably put this into the middle of the video, so we're just going to let this play a couple times. And we're going to look at the mechanics. So as I was talking to earlier about the mechanics, let's go over this. So we've been given a 7-second video showing some of the mechanics here. So let's break this down, let's go nice and slow. Don't give me options. So we're going to play through here. We have a regrab. That's something that's incredibly unique to Echo Arena, which is where so I love these blocks. So we're grabbing onto our partner and we're pulling ourselves through their player avatar, and in a broken but works mechanic, we're able to accelerate ourselves to a higher speed. But what I enjoy here is after the regrab, we pick up a bit of speed, we come through. Look at this. So we're not able to grab these surfaces, but we are able to slap them. And I'm seeing a sphere here and a ray and like a line here. I wonder if that's the rail they're talking about that you can grab. We're going up here. We've got a slap, like a grid attack slap. Slapping up here, slapping again. We've switched camera now. We're looking at this person who's grabbed an item, which seems like a ball or an object. And we're seeing a throw. So you've got throw mechanics. We're floating up, so we're receiving that while floating. So we're encouraging the motions of not sitting anchored like you would in Echo and grabbing stuff. You're actually floating. It's the fluidness. You can't slow down the game as easily. You'd have to be a bit more strategic if you wanted to do that. It's a bit more like an actual sport where there is momentum and you are moving forward. Personally, I love it. I think this is great. Coming here, slap. Slap over here, moving towards it, picking the item up, and we're seeing it be thrown. I like that glow on the ceiling there, so you know the collision is near. Coming down, it's received. We've got a catch, and we've got a swing towards what appears to be a goal. That is an interesting looking goal. I wonder why the logic behind that design. Is that not weird? That is a weird shape for a goal. You'd think you would just have a square or a circle. A circle would just make sense with zero gravity. There's got to be some logic to that. Maybe it's like they're throwing angles from the sides. In fact, all of these services seem pretty random. I don't know if there's actually much logic to this yet. But the whole arena is a bit weird. Odd shape. I guess there's we have a basic rectangle. There was a tunnel at the beginning as well, so we're coming through a tube. Kind of. So there is like a middle area that we have to cut through. Personally, I'm not sure about that. I don't like the idea. I like the idea of bottleneck in the middle, but I don't like the idea of just feeling like a whole second map because it's completely blocked off. We'll see how that evolves. Perhaps there'll be some kind of transparency. That transparency would work fine, but I don't like the idea of like feeling like a completely separate like zone or level. So we're coming through here, big open space, all these panels out, rings on the ceiling. It's feeling a bit more Rocket League. I like how much brighter it is. Echo was always very dark. I saw Venom post about that, about asking for like basically daytime arenas. I'm liking the colours so far. Picked up, sent towards the weird goal looking thing, hitting off the post, bouncing down. And I think that's what we got. There's all, yeah, a nice bit at the end there. Glowing fist coming up. We know what that is as Echo players. That is the brawling mechanic coming up. We don't actually see any kind of like visual to insinuate a shield coming up, but we are seeing the hands come up, which is a known Echo block, which is incredibly intuitive. And people love it. Look at this speed as well. Okay, let's keep an eye on that and the speed. So we got, oh, look at that already. So we were on 4, we're up to 15 now. 2 pulls. I wonder if that's a max. We've slapped off, we're down to 8. Slap again, 8. So it seems to be a max of 8. Coming here, watch the camera change again. So we're now down to 4. And that feels very slow at 4 meters per second. Oh, mate, I'm really going to dissect this now. Look at the frame rate. That is solid, actually. 70, 70, 70, 71, 72, 65, 71. I wonder if it drops. That's why they swapped camera there. Looks good. Looks solid. But then it is like grey box though, right? If they start adding textures, maybe the quality plummets. There's only 2 people in the arena. Make that 20 people. I'm assuming this is a 4v4. And also, as we were saying earlier about community stations, like you'll go to a place where there won't be 10 people there. There'll be 100 people there. How does it work with that? Like Facebook venues, apps like that. Is that the kind of experience we're going to have here? Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. I've been Monomich26. Hope you enjoy these kind of videos. And yeah, see you soon. So cringy. Peace.